Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to Leo season. The sun has officially moved into Leo, and so every month I like to pull a card for contemplation for the sun being in a specific sign. So this time we're going to pull a card from the Black Moon Astrology Cards. I'll show you in case you're interested. This is the deck we'll be pulling from, and I do like to switch off, so next month we'll probably do a different deck, but this month we're going to look at the astrology cards for Leo season. And so this is just a collective card pull for anyone who would be watching this video as a point of contemplation as the sun moves and shines the light on our Leonine consciousness, and then also therefore Aquarian consciousness, because Leo and Aquarius sit on opposite ends of the natural wheel of consciousness, or the zodiac, right? So they work together. So this is this axis of consciousness that works together. So you can find Leo and Aquarius in your chart and see what house it's in. It's the houses that determine where the action is happening in your life. So wherever the sun is shining the light in Leo, whatever house it's in is the aspect of life that you're going to experience as Leonine consciousness in. And Leo will also be shining the light on wherever you have Aquarius in your chart. What house is it in? This month we're going to have Uranus, the North Node, and Mars conjunct in Taurus at about 18 degrees, and that's going to be on July 31st of 2022, and that's a very significant event, which I'll do a video coming up here, so you can look for that. I'll do a video, we'll talk about that in more detail, but it's a notable transit to be considering. And by the way, you know, wherever the sun is in our natal charts, or the sun being in Leo, this is how we're self-actualizing our own love, what we love and how we love. We self-actualize that, right? And we self-actualize our evolutionary purpose. And this is then contributed out into the world, into humanity, or into the groups we find ourselves in. And this is very much expressed through the fixed grand cross in the sky. What is the fixed grand cross? This is Leo and Aquarius, and how that axis of consciousness squares Taurus and Scorpio. And so these energies all work together. So wherever we have the sun is how we're self-actualizing our evolutionary purpose, and how we actually integrate all the planetary functions into that creative self-actualization through that sun energy, right? And the sun rules, or is the planetary guide to Leonine energy, to Leonine consciousness, right? So the sun being in Leo is really shining a light on how we're self-actualizing our own creative purpose, our own evolutionary trajectory, and how we're self-actualizing our own sense of self-love and love in the world, how we're contributing light in the world, right? So another important transit to be aware of is that on August 14th, the sun in Leo will oppose Saturn in Aquarius, and Saturn's retrograde. So the sun is going to oppose Saturn in Aquarius. And so this transit can really be about, you know, how are we committed? You know, are we actually being committed to the new reality that we wish to create and build in the world and contribute in the world? And then also, are there areas where we feel restricted, or maybe we don't feel resourced, you know, and how can we actually self-actualize in a way that positions ourselves to be resourced, to actually really, what is it that we can do, even if there's small movements, what is it that we can do to be committed to how we'd like to self-actualize our creative purpose and our own brilliance into the world and contributing our own light into the world. So let's pull a card. As I said, using the Black Moon Astrology Cards, and what I'll do is synthesize whatever card we pull up and contemplating these things in Leo season. So I'm going to shuffle one more time, and then we're going to pick a card for collective contemplation and navigating Leo season 2022. Makes sense? So the card pulled is Aquarius. I know. Well, as we talked about earlier in this video, Aquarius is very intimately connected with Leo consciousness. And it is the part of our own unique brilliance that we bring through our Leonine consciousness, right? So we all have something to contribute that is very unique and very different and part of our own creative self-actualization in this lifetime, right? And so it makes sense that we would pull the Aquarian card. And as I talked about, you know, in this Leo season, we're going to have the sun opposing Saturn retrograde in Aquarius on August 14th. And we're going to have this transit on July 31st, where we have Uranus, the ruler, one of the planetary rulers of Aquarius. By the way, Saturn is the other planetary ruler of Aquarius in its own sign, right? And we're going to have the ruler Uranus in Taurus, conjunct Mars, and conjunct the North Node. By the way, you know, if I didn't say already, Uranus conjunct the North Node only happens every 15 to 15 and a half years. So this is a very notable transit. And this is very much an awakening moment in regards to our own Taurus consciousness. So, you know, this can be very much about what are our essential needs and how are we taking care of ourselves? You know, are we resourced so that we can bring our own unique brilliance out into the world and contribute light in the world? And how are we taking actions on behalf of what we personally need and our own personal essential needs? Taurus is all about essential needs and resourcing ourselves so that we can evolve and really self-actualize our evolutionary purpose. And, you know, Mars is the planetary guide to Scorpio as well as to Aries. And Chiron just went retrograde in Aries. And so this is very much about really, you know, are we acting on behalf of our own essential needs so that we can share our own unique brilliance in the world and our own healing in the world as well? And are our needs being met in relationship? Are we in relationships and are we relating in a way that is resourcing ourselves and resourcing others, where we're mutually regenerating energy as we're relating? And if not, you know, what can we do to make those changes and to heal, where we need to make adjustments in how we're acting on our own behalf, and that ultimately we are actually, it is important to act on our own behalf and our own needs, and that sometimes our needs are, you know, they're evolving and they're changing over time, right? So as we evolve, we might need to make adjustments on really assessing what our needs are. I really think this is the Mars conjunct the North Node and Uranus as well in Taurus. So really assessing what are my needs presently? What is essential to me? What is essential in order to thrive? Not just to survive, because Taurus is about, yes, it's about survival and those defaults or unconscious programming in regards to survival, but then how we can resource ourselves enough to thrive. And when we're thriving, we have more to share with the world, right? And so, you know, Taurus, Scorpio, and Leo and Aquarius are fixed energies. And so once we figure out how to survive, that's like it's a default setting. You know, it's a fixed energy, and it's an unconscious wiring. It goes on automatic pilot. And yet, when we evolve, and as we evolve, we hope to be building, not just surviving, but building our thriving, so that we have more and more and more of our own self-actualization to share in the world, and more light, and a contribution of light and unique brilliance that we have to bring to share in the world. And Leo is all about that. It's not only our self-actualizing our own process, but it's also encouraging other people's light as well, encouraging others to share their unique brilliance into the world. And so this really resonates with this Aquarian piece, as I know, this brilliant part of ourselves that when we're resourced, and as we work with these automatic pilot and how we update, Uranus and Taurus is updating what our essential needs are now for our own unique brilliance and our own evolutionary purpose, and how we love ourselves, and then how that naturally flows into how we share with others, right? And contribute our own evolutionary purpose into the collective. How Leo then self-actualizes itself in its own unique purpose, but then also encourages others to express their unique brilliance and their contribution of light in the world. So Leo consciousness is all about the contribution of light in the world, and really self-actualization of our own creative purpose, which is very unique to each individual, and the encouragement of that. So I hope this is helpful. And as I said, I'm gonna come back on here this month and talk a little bit more in depth about these transits for Leo, or during Leo season. And so I hope to see you in the next video.